What's going on, everybody? This is an episode from the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast. Do you like podcasts and you want to see the full podcast? Make sure you check out the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast on all your podcast platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, among many others. But you're listening to the episode right here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that like button and below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to NC Studios and NC Level Up for all your gaming needs. This is the Nerd Coalition. Enjoy the show. So, I'm gonna move on to Jordynne Grace. My girl Jordynne Grace, who came out.
I didn't understand this at all. I was very confused by all of this.
Yeah, she made a tweet a couple days ago about Chris Benoit. Mm-hmm. Now
who was it in response to?
Okay, yeah. So, a fan on Twitter came out and it was talking about Chris Benoit in a professional context.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, while excusing what happened before praising what he did in the ring. So, Jordynne Grace.
By the way, he was trending before Jordynne Grace even got involved.
What'd you say?
By the way, he was trending for like 2 days before Jordynne Grace got involved.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand that last word.
He was trending before Jordynne Grace got involved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because basically people be like brushing off his accomplishments as if people be brushing off his death as if he ain't,
Oh no, he was probably trending because his doctor died the same day.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But I do know people still say this man great as if he didn't do what he did. But that's the one I saw. I was
so
like, okay.
On this show, we'll probably get to that. So Jordynne Grace responds. She said, "This is going to be the coldest take I ever tweet on this app. I already know y'all going to be mad." Right out the gate.
Out the box.
I don't think Benoit could 100% hang with most of the present-day wrestlers. He would not be able to remember matches. Also, may he burn in hell. Amen.
I didn't see that part. All the parts that I saw was just a screenshot of the first part of the tweet.
Yeah.
Not may he burn in hell. Amen.
Well, first of all, the CTE is bad, so I mean, that's a lot to remember.
Yeah.
First of all,
and then,
but
some people jump to to the defense as you would, and she said, proving a point. I said something very lightly critical about him. People jump to defend him. He should never, in caps, be defended. Dude lost that right when he gave his 7-year-old Xanax and strangled him while he was already unconscious.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. I only saw that the first part of that first tweet. I didn't know she went down this whole rabbit hole.
Now, let me, off the back, it could be the star. Let me go off the back right now and say this. We joke on this show, like when we call Chris Benoit Voldemort, or do stuff like that. Mm-hmm. However, if there is a newsworthy or a match that we had to refer to, I can say Chris Benoit. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I understand because I was alive throughout the whole. I ain't saw WWE. I was alive through the whole WCW Chris Benoit era. Mm-hmm. I watched some of the old Chris Benoit and what was it, the Dynamite Kids stuff that they had, especially
in Japan.
Yeah, Japan. Yeah. So I'm very well around Chris Benoit, and I understand both points here because I understand that there are people out there that cannot separate what he did with his wrestling accomplishments, and that's fine. I get it, and there are people that could just talk about his wrestling accomplishments. On the front of the wrestling accomplishment, I mean that's not a comment to me.
Yeah, that was the argument that I saw from folks.
Yeah,
nobody. And I think that's why I only saw and I know that's I'm not even one-sided. Yeah. And that's probably why I only saw the top part of that first tweet because they was just like, we're not going to discuss even get into what he did. I did see the conspiracy theories come out.
Yeah,
that happens every time. But most of them were just disagreeing with what she said about his wrestling ability in the first place.
Yes.
Well, I think I might have to agree with what she said only because it's changed since he was in it. And I guess, the CTE That's hard to do. That's all I'm saying. It's hard to do.
Yeah, but I don't think she was referring to the CTE. I think she was referring to
his wrestling ability.
No. What I said, no. I'm talking about what she calls to remember matches. See, the problem, the match.
Remembering the CTE, right?
I'm just what I'm saying is there's so many damn spots that's called in a match today. There's so many that you gotta remember to try to make a match flow because the shit is extra.
First of all, he wouldn't be wrestling today. Let's just get that out.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. But I'm saying, opposed to a match back in the day where it's like we go in here, we know what the start is, we call it on the fly, we know what the finish is, and then that's what the match is.
And we got like 1 or 2 spots in there along the way.
Exactly. I mean, he did dive hit, but he did toe pace before, but he's not a Ricochet. Now, that's not saying he can't go up against a Ricochet. He gone up against high flyers before. But I'm saying, but the way the wrestling is conducted now, honestly, that's just a tale to what's going on in wrestling. Also, because there was another thing about saying Kurt Angle can't hang.
That was the other thing.
Because
I said, wait a minute, you guys.
I'm like, first of all,
how did we lose sight here?
That's Mr. Adaptable, and the stuff that Benoit.
Don't let Per Angle come out of retirement on y'all, boy.
Per Angle already said. He said, "Listen, this is it. And I'm not."
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not.
Go ahead, Per.
Go ahead,
Mr. I do drugs every day. 24/7 Kurt Angle. That's
he said Per Angle.
Oh,
he said don't let Per Angle come out.
No.
I said because that Kurt Angle is a machine. Okay, I'm saying Mr. Adaptability.
Kurt Angle is the best angle. I don't care. Kurt Angle. Oh my God! This man. Did you see when he did a 450 to Abyss for no reason?
Yeah, because he can.
He didn't even tell him he was doing it. He just like, I'm gonna do a 450, and then jumped and did a 450.
Like when Kurt got to TNA and dealt with AJ Styles and that kind of style of wrestling, and they had like a great last standing match with no weapons. That's the kind of stuff I'm saying that Benoit can do. But I do understand that it's hard to separate the fact of what he did, because at the end of the day, he's a child murderer. He's a murderer. He will never be in the Hall of Fame. He will never be forgiven for the act. Y'all can blame CTE, but we are also responsible. He has had problems before CTE.
Hey, I've seen a good point. There was like, if that was CTE, then Mick Foley should be like killed 30 people by now.
Big actual facts. I just also have to say, I have to bring this up because I wish I knew which group I saw it in, but her sister came out. Nancy's sister came out.
Oh, I seen it. We gotta wait till she said an apology first.
Okay, yeah. So I have the apology pulled up.
Yeah.
Okay, so with all this, the commotion came. Jordynne Grace came out with an apology, and she said, "This is what she said." Last week, I made irresponsible and unnecessary tweet, regardless of how many personal emotions influenced my opinion. I should have recognized the impact of my words would have on friends and family close to the situation. I was completely thoughtless in that regard. Since reflecting this past week, I've reached out privately to friends and family that are angered and hurt. Among those were David Benoit, Chavo Guerrero, Chris Jericho, who are supporting me. Go ahead. What you say?
No, I was gonna say there was different ways to handle it, but the way that Chavo handled it, I don't like at all. Okay, that's just me personally.
Get to that.
I missed the Chavo part.
Who is supporting me in the decision to partner and fundraise with the Concussion Legacy Foundation, formerly Sports Legacy Institute. I have pledged $5,000 with the overall campaign goal of being $20,000.
Let me tell you something right now. You got me messed up if you gonna bully me into giving $2,000 or however much you got me messed up right now. I'm sorry. I am not getting bullied into giving any thousands of dollars to anything.
Okay.
But,
I gotta say,
sorry.
I'm accurately aware that the damage has been done. I will never intentionally add onto the suffering of those already dealing with such a traumatic event, and I am sorry for my insensitivity and aggravating this already delicate topic. This is my way of attempting to squeeze something positive out of the negative situation I created. Thank you in advance to everyone who donates.
Tell me next time. Giving money.
I'm be honest. I'm not liking quite a few of the responses here. I didn't see Chavo's, but in my search for what Nancy's sister said, I found what Conan said.
Oh Lord. Okay. Let's go.
You mean to read the whole thing?
Well, I mean,
how long is it?
It's a nice little thing, but I'll try and get through it quickly.
You can do that. Paraphrase whatever you want to do. Okay.
So he says, I can't believe she would publicly come out and make an ass of herself like that. But that ain't the first time she's had stupid takes. And you know, with age comes wisdom. You'll get here soon enough. Obviously, you don't know what the F you're talking about. Benoit, without a doubt, out of all the years and all the dressing rooms and all the people that I've worked with, is one of the greatest performers I've ever seen. His passion was second to none. His intensity was second to none. His preparation was second to none. What do you mean he couldn't hang with nobody today? Bro, 90% of the guys today could not hang with him. That's the bottom line, because I worked with them. And what do you mean that he would have forgotten everything? Listen, if he was at a point where he was forgetting, nobody would let him put together matches. He had the ability to control the match and say, hey, we don't need this. Take this out. Because he was wrestling with Rey Mysterio, who was a wild fucking guy. I don't know why I didn't bleep that one, sorry. That he had to edit down and say, hey, do this. Juventud do this. Psychosis do this. So, I mean, I don't know what the F you're talking about. That's effing ignorant. Here is where I was just like, what? And bro, okay, yeah, he killed his family. Let me stop you there, Conan. Where are you going with this? Because that's not how we ever start a sentence about somebody murdering his wife and young son.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy had CTE. It ain't like he was a serial killer. This is a direct quote. The guy had all these problems accumulated from years, like we're seeing now in wrestling, like we're seeing now in football, like we just saw with this one guy, the 33-year-old wide receiver. We was talking about Demaryius Thomas that just passed away. It's a serious thing for you to make light of it and make a stupid, idiotic remark like that. Just shows what an idiot you are. If you're going to bury somebody, you better have a better career than them.
So what did Nancy Benoit say?
So I'm trying to find hers, but I just had to scroll down to the comments, and most people were just like, there's some validity to what he was saying, but he's super flippant about the fact that he killed his family, and it's just like, oh, it's not like he's a serial killer. What the fuck does that even mean? Like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the Nancy Benoit thing. It's a lot of moving pieces to this that I
I'm reading a tweet. It's like, somebody said, as expected, Jordynne Grace backed out of her critique of Jesus, a world-renowned baby murderer, Chris Benoit, as soon as his buddies showed out. Plenty of people suffer from CTE. Most of them don't kill their wife and child. There's no excuse. Strong in body, weak in values. That's what somebody said. Somebody else said they really bullied Jordynne Grace into retracting her valid, truthful opinion. And a lot of people say it's Jericho. I didn't never see what Jericho said because I already knew it was gonna be something. But I did see like Chavo and other people was kind of this.
Now what did Chavo say that was?
Yeah, you can go with the Chavo thing. I'm gonna try and find what Nancy Benoit said.
So Chavo basically, in the grand scheme, he was just bullying her, saying like she basically just talking about her angry works and she's not even good and how she is basically terrible and horrible, human. I don't like all that,
Like I said, I think I know first of all, I know Chris Benoit personally.
But they're defending the person.
Not his.
So
wrestling
they're talking about. So they're talking about, oh, he's a great person. It's like you can't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who they've known for so long, and it's just like, oh my God, this was like a one smudge over everything, to the point where that's not the case. That smudge has now taken over everything else you've done in your life.
Yeah.
If you had committed suicide by yourself, we have a different conversation.
Very much so.
If you went out and said, I'm going to take, because you can have problems with suicide. Also, people who do suicide, but if you're doing that, we have a different talk and a different explanation to this day. There is no, and like I said, those guys are all head up close to Benoit, and I get it. And it's hard to separate that stuff, especially when, his kid is trying to come up and he look just like his ass, and people probably don't want to give him a job because of that. Like, yeah, he fucked a lot of people's lives up with that. That is the result of the decision that you have made. And Jordynne Grace came out, like I said, and first of all, like I said, I have a problem with some of this newer wrestling today. I'm not going to sit there and say that, professionally, because why can I keep it with these guys? I mean, like I said, he is better than 90% of the people out there. I mean, me and Pryor have talked about shit from AEW or shit from CZW and shit like that. I'm like, yeah, or, it ain't like, sitting there talking about somebody, Nick Gage going to outwork Chris Benoit. Not a day in the life. However, people who feels though that he cannot be forgiven for what he has done, and they can't separate it. We just had to talk about Bill Cosby the other day.
Yeah.
Some people just can't. You can't just pull that shit away because some people can, some people can't.
But even still, this is the thing. Even with when you talk about separating art and life,
yeah,
and art in the artist, I feel like that's a different argument than people who were his friends coming out and trying to basically degrade this girl for having this hot take around more so the second part of it than the ability part. Conan's statement was more so around the ability part, but it was just like that last part there was just like, what? And then you blow a hole in your argument of the CTE, because yes, there are people who have CTE who have killed themselves because they wanted their brains to be studied.
Yeah.
We watched that documentary about Junior Seau?
Yeah.
Who his whole personality changed. Still did not turn around and cause bodily harm to anyone, let alone murder. You can't bring up things for convenience. And be so flippant about it. I could see why Nancy's sister was upset, and I'm mad at because I can't find this damn tweet. I could see why she would be upset, because basically, to paraphrase while I'm trying to find it, she was saying that she reached out to people who were affected by this, and she was like, "Oh, that's crazy because I didn't get a phone call." And how she's been trying to preserve Nancy's legacy all this time, and yet again she's forgotten in this equation, because whenever we bring this, like, everybody brings up what happens, and the first thing most people go to is you killed your son because he's a child, an innocent child in all of this. But Nancy is often forgotten.
I'll tell you one person we forget about Nancy.
Who?
You know who I'm about to say, Pryor. Pryor, you still there? Pryor, you still there?
My phone died.
Okay. Oops. I'll tell you one person you forget about Nancy. New Jack.
Stop.
No. I almost said, what did he say, but then I forgot.
That's why I was like, stop.
Bruh, if Chris Benoit was in front of New Jack, he would have killed him again. I'm telling you, when they had that shoot interview with him, Honky Tonk Man, I forgot who the third one was, and he went on a Chris Benoit rant because he was friends with Nancy.
Yes.
And he'll piss New Jack off. Bro, you did take the easy way out.
But that's why she said that. Basically, it was just like, you talking about, because this was not something that came from a genuine place. Like y'all said, they bullied her into doing this donation thing and going on this little mini apology tour. And it was just like, listen, did you really consider everyone who was affected by you bringing this back up? Because every time he trends, I'm sure she knows.
Yeah.
It's never anything great. Like, you know, so it's just like she gets lost in the sauce of all of this. Oh, here it is. I found it. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, Jordynne Grace put out her statement and her apology, and she said, "It's weird. I didn't hear my phone ring. I really thought the work I've been putting in for 15 years trying to keep and elevate my sister's legacy hadn't gone unnoticed. Guess my family is an afterthought again. I don't even know where to effing start. Hashtag heartbroken." And somebody, somebody who was in the comments was like, she definitely deserves to be remembered for more than being Benoit's murdered wife.
Yeah.
But even beyond that, it's like, you went and you did this. It's one thing to be like, oh, I'm sorry I talked about your dad, you know, to his son now. But also, even if it wasn't a public thing, and if you made the effort in that to say, of the people who were affected, then actually talk to the people who were affected.
I think she just meant the people who were bullying.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, because what you really could have said was his son and his homies who told me I had to come out here and do this. If we're being honest.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, I don't know. I can honestly understand that it would be a touchy thing if this was your friend, they did something like that, and you have so much more to connection to them, but besides what happened, and you just feel that natural inclination to pounce.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to do that in a case like this. If you want to come and be like, oh well, you know, I don't think that's true. That's true. But she also, again, shutting up is free. You didn't have to make this hot, cold, lukewarm, whatever take you want to call it. It didn't have to be done.
It had to be done by us. So
also, I don't think she's ever gone to the hall either. Unfortunately.
Who's your Jordynne Grace or Nancy?
No, Nancy.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. No.
Unfortunately, I don't think women's gonna. Yeah, it's
I think she can, but I don't think they're gonna. You know, I don't think they're gonna do that.
It's gonna be a situation. This is like an actual wrestling Hall of Fame, and not the Vince McMahon one. Until he gets out of there and they change it.
But because if it's the Vince one, you know, whatever her sister ain't gonna come in there. You know what, Chris? I know.
Yeah, no, we definitely not doing that. So yeah, it's just a message take for all the parties involved.